Hello everyone, I'm glad to share with you something about the basic structure of an essay. In general, an essay consists of an introduction, a main body, and a conclusion. The introduction falls on the first paragraph of the essay and the conclusion on the last paragraph generally, while the main body contains more than one paragraph. Let's first take a look at the introduction part. The introduction tells readers what the essay is about as well as grabs their attention. Basically, they are achieved firstly by offering either a hook or background information, or both a hook and background information, and secondly, by writing a thesis statement for the whole essay. Basically, a hook is a sentence which grabs readers' attention. It can be a question or a statement, whether humorous, funny, or serious, in the very beginning of the introduction to get readers' interest, so that they want to continue reading your essay. In contrast, background information is provided through a chain of sentences or a story. It aims to tell readers what kind of field the essay will touch upon, and it can also attract readers to go on reading your essay. One thing that should be pointed out here is that the essay question should not be repeated as background information, because the repeat will lead to a boring introduction, and therefore readers may show no interest in your essay. A thesis statement is a sentence which states the main idea of the essay, usually the last sentence of the introduction. It is the answer to your topic question which expresses the main idea of your essay and the point that you will be making in the rest of your essay. It offers your readers a quick and easy to follow summary of what the essay is about, and it usually appears as a single sentence toward the end of the introduction. A good thesis statement should be short and simple, but not in a personal feeling or judgment, and it should focus on one idea. So how to write a good introduction? First, we should give background information or a hook about the topic, and then write the thesis statement. We can also add supporting points after the thesis statement to indicate the overall organization of the essay to readers. Often, the introduction takes up 5 to 10% of the essay's total length. Now let's look at an example. The essay topic is like this. Some education experts believe students should always learn in their native language. Others argue there are benefits to learning in a second language for some subjects. The task is to evaluate both points of view and indicate which you agree with. Let's see this introduction now. Okay, the problems here are as follows. Overall, this introduction is a 169 word long one, while the total word count is just 500. It takes up 33.8% of the essay's total length. Secondly, the first paragraph is just a repeat of the essay questions or topics, with long sentences which are quite hard to follow. Finally, it's hard to find out the thesis statement of the essay. If the last sentence can be counted as the thesis statement, then it's a wrong one because it is an interrogative sentence. That means a question. Now let's move to the main body. The main body explains your main argument by giving supporting ideas, evidence, and examples. If you have provided supporting ideas in the introduction, the main body should explain them according to the same order of those supporting ideas. Often, it occupies 70 to 90% of the total word count. The supporting points should be developed in separate paragraphs. Talking about this, we should first understand clearly what a paragraph is. A paragraph is a collection of related sentences dealing with a single point. To be as effective as possible, a paragraph should contain each of the following. Firstly, a topic sentence, which states the point to be developed in that paragraph. Just as a thesis statement provides a focus for an entire essay, a topic sentence provides a focus for a supporting paragraph. Secondly, supporting sentences, which justify the idea introduced by the topic sentence through examples, case studies, statistics, or quotations, etc. Thirdly, unity, which means the entire paragraph should have the single focus. We should present a new point in a new paragraph. Remember, do not start new things in the same paragraph. And finally, coherence, which can be achieved by the use of repetition of a key term or phrase, the use of synonyms which are words sharing the same meaning, the use of pronouns like it, he, she, or they, etc. The use of transitional words like however, but, and, etc. At this, we can compare a paragraph to a tree. The trunk is the topic sentence. All the branches are supporting sentences, and the leaves are examples, case studies, statistics, or quotations, etc. So, in order to write a good main body, we should write paragraphs basing on the above elements. Here comes to the conclusion part of an essay. The conclusion is a condensed version of an essay which summarizes the essay by briefly restating the main idea of the essay, and at times the supporting points. Often it amounts to 5 to 10% of the essay's total length. Remember that what the conclusion states is all related to the introduction and main body. Hence, the conclusion should not give new points which will distract readers and mislead them to feel that your essay has not yet come to the end. Again, let's take a look at an example of the conclusion with the same topic as the previous example of the introduction. Now let's see the main problems here. Firstly, the tone of the conclusion becomes quite casual, since this paragraph begins with the casual word okay. Secondly, the words I agree downgrades the persuasiveness of the essay. That means the essay becomes less persuasive, because such wording just tells readers that this is the author's feeling or judgment. Thirdly, it uses long and complex sentences a lot, which are again quite hard to follow. Fourthly, it shows no signs to indicate that this is a conclusion. It just comes to a sudden end. Finally, it is also a long conclusion with 144 words, taking up 28.8% of the essay's total length. Now this chart can be the conclusion of today's workshop. You can see that in introduction, we need to write a hook and or background information, and then narrow those things down to a specific point, namely the thesis statement. During this process, we are like funnels. We welcome lots of things in general and then pick out a specific point as the central idea of the essay. In main body, we need to write several paragraphs. Each one has only one point as the topic sentence at the very beginning. Following the topic sentence in a paragraph, we should give explanation of the topic sentence, which are also supporting sentences. Then we need to add some certain examples. After that, we should give a brief conclusion for that paragraph. Sometimes we may conclude the paragraph with a transitional sentence, a sentence linking the paragraph with the next one. In the conclusion part, we begin the summary of our essay by thesis restatement. Then we may restate all the supporting points in different words. Of course, we should not start new points at the end of our essay, but we may give some suggestions for the topic we have discussed in our essay. That's all for today's workshop. Thank you very much for listening. Hope that this workshop can be helpful.
you.